Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Real Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. JOTA, and today we have an amazing show because we will be talking about Kylian Mbappe in the last picture that Neymar Jr. uploaded last night along with him and Leo Messi. But we will also be talking about Erling Haaland because apparently Borussia Dortmund is starting to assume the departure of the Norwegian player. And apparently, according to Sport 1, they have found already the perfect replacement for Erling Haaland. I mean, there are a bunch of other candidates for replacing the Norwegian player, but this one apparently fits the expectations from Borussia Dortmund. But of course, we have to talk about a little bit more the horrible performance last night against Sheriff de Tirol. Sheriff Tiraspol. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, so let's get start for the worst news that we have, which is in regards to the horrible performance last night against Sheriff de Tirol, and let's try to figure why we lost the game and we couldn't even get the 3 points. Because of course it is something to be analyzed in detail, because if you keep in mind that all these kind of teams, all these kind of, a little easy games that you have to win just because you are Real Madrid and you are, super experienced in this kind of matters, and then you show up and then you lose and things like that. Of course, there's always something to say about, there's always something you have to work more on, right? So to me, the first aspect we have to highlight, it is the defensive aspect. It is of course an issue that has been a big concern, and it has turned in a big concern since the beginning of the season for the Ancelotti's side. And that is something that some of the players right after the game against Sheriff de Tirol wanted to highlight in front of the microphones and the journalists and all these people, because Thibaut Courtois, Casemiro, Fede Valverde, all of them agreed in this aspect. I mean, we have to be more focused, we have to pay attention, we cannot just push up and forget every single thing about the defense and all this stuff, because these kind of things will happen again if we don't keep the concentration on this matter. And that is very true, man. For example, if you analyze the first goal that we conceded, it was a completely and horrible mistake by Miguel Gutierrez, who lost completely the player he was chasing to. I mean, the first goal of Sheriff Tiraspol, if you see it from way up from the sky, if you see the image, how the players are running back to the Courtois goal, you will find that Miguel Gutierrez was chasing the Sheriff Tiraspol player, and all of a sudden he stopped running and he lost the mark of this guy. He didn't cover the guy, and that's why he could head the ball completely clear of obstacles. I mean, there was no a single problem for him to head the ball to the net. You know what I'm saying? So it was a huge mistake from Miguel Gutierrez that I don't really understand. I mean, why did you stop, man? You have to keep chasing the player and creating a lot of problems so he's not able to find a way to head the ball in a very, clear situation, right? So it was also David Alaba maybe, but David Alaba was a little bit ahead of the player. And to me, when he turns around and he see the guy that is about to head the ball, to me it was a kind of surprise for him. So he was not expecting a guy jumping that high and heading the ball, So to me, it was 80% Miguel Gutierrez, maybe 20% David Alaba, but it was a mistake, right? And it was not the only one. There were more situations where we were caught off guard in the defense and we were completely lost, and then Courtois had to save a bunch of times possible goals from Sheriff Tiraspol, so they could even score more goals in the game yesterday, but they didn't, right? So that is the thing, the defensive aspect, man, it has to be improved. Thibaut Courtois, for example, said that in the second goal there was a guy completely alone and he could even do whatever he wanted to do with the ball because there was nobody else covering him, right? So that is another aspect we have to keep in mind. I mean, the problem with this is, of course, the players, the couple of center backs, they have to be more focused, they have to be more, sharp in this aspect, more concentrated and stuff like that. That is true, but it's also true that if you want to have a more vertical team, a more aggressive team, a more offensive team, you have to assume the other rivals will create more danger in your side. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you forward the lines and your back and your say that your defense lines, your defense line is in the midfield, you will receive and you will concede a lot of big chances for the rivals because your defensive aspect will become weaker. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you go all in to attack, when you go all in on the offensive aspect, when you go all in aggressiveness and stuff like that and to the attack, the problem with that is that you will concede a lot of things, a lot of situations in the defensive aspect, because even your defenders are, you know, playing forward than they would do in a more defensive team, like for example the Real Madrid under the Zinedine Zidane command. I mean, 2 years ago it was a completely different story, and we kept the tactical order in the defense all the time, so we were not conceding too many goals, right? So because that was the most important aspect for Zinedine Zidane, that's why as well we were not able to score more than 1 or even 2 goals in a single game. So you can have one or the other but not both, right? So that is the thing. If you want to be vertical, if you want to be offensive, if you want to play super spectacular, if you want to be quick, if you want to build up super quick counterattacks and stuff like that, it is okay, it is fine, but the problem is you have to keep in mind some of your players will forget about the defense. So that is the thing. And if you remember back in the day when we were playing with Cristiano Ronaldo still in Real Madrid, and we had to Sergio Ramos and Rafa Varane in the center backs, in the center back position, we were conceding way more goals than the last 2 seasons of Zinedine Zidane, just because we were all the time attacking and playing aggressiveness and more aggressive, more offensive and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it is not just about to blame David Alaba, Rafa Varane or Miguel Gutierrez. It is also about that if you are going to be more, attacker, whatever you want to call it, you have to assume that you will concede more goals than if you were playing in a more defensive strategy or tactical formation or things like that. So it is not that easy to analyze this whole thing. But yeah, definitely we have to improve in that aspect for sure. So now let me move forward and let's keep talking about more stuff, more interesting stuff, and of course more happier stuff. The second news I have for you all guys is pretty much about the picture Neymar Jr. uploaded last night in his Instagram account, where you could see two Neymar, Mbappe and also Leo Messi in the same picture. For some Madridistas out there, this is a kind of concern, because right after the allegedly beef between Kylian Mbappe and Neymar, and when Mbappe was caught by camera insulting Neymar or criticizing Neymar or stuff like that, everybody was thinking that, okay, this is done, he wants to get out and he will sign for Real Madrid super quick. And okay, it was not that bad, and now it was not that good, and now it is not that bad. Let me tell you what. The picture is taken by someone from Paris Saint-Germain, right? A Paris Saint-Germain staff, crew, employee, whoever it is, right? And the only player that uploaded the picture to his Instagram account was actually Neymar Jr. But Mbappe didn't upload the same picture, didn't share that picture, you know what I'm saying? So although I think that they are trying to look this down and say, hey, there's no worries, no beef, no drama, no stuff, it is still something going on between both of them, right? Because the problem here is, okay, they understand in this situation, you can't go out and say, no, now I don't want to talk to Neymar anymore, I don't want to have any good gesture with him, I'm not going to celebrate my goals with him. No, it's not that hard, it's not that radical, right? So Kylian Mbappe and also Neymar, they in my opinion, understand they have to get along in different aspects, in different ways, for the good of Paris Saint-Germain fans and supporters and the team and all the stuff. Doesn't mean though that they don't really have any kind of disagreement or beef or something going on between both of them, right? But sometimes you have to, just shut your mouth down and say, okay, I'm not going to say anything about that because I don't want to be in the spotlight again, and that's it. So to me, there's no story, there shouldn't be any concern about these pictures, because to me, Kylian Mbappe, it is still a player who will sign for Real Madrid and who is actually looking forward to play in Real Madrid and sign for Real Madrid as soon as possible. So to me, this picture really doesn't mean anything, right? So like it shouldn't for y'all guys. I mean, some of y'all are really worried about that, and you drop comments in my Instagram account saying, hey man, have you seen this picture? I mean, what is going on between Mbappe and Neymar? It was completely fake, that he was not getting along with Neymar anymore and stuff like that, and it is not. I mean, he might be like done with Neymar, like, okay, I'm not going to talk this guy anymore, and still taking pictures with him, because it's the good, in the big picture, what you have to see is the good for the team, and the good for the team is his big names and his big stars and stuff like that getting along. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that shouldn't be any kind of concern or story or drama for Los Madridistas with this picture. So now let's move forward and let's keep talking about the latest news that we have on Erling Haaland, because this is actually very important, because according to Sport 1 in Germany, Borussia Dortmund has found already another possible substitute for Erling Haaland. And this player, it is Anthony Martial from Manchester United, who might replace Erling Haaland for the next season. I mean, regardless how important or how possible is for Borussia Dortmund to sign Anthony Martial the next year, the thing here, and the most important for Los Madridistas here, it is to see how Borussia Dortmund is now assuming the fact that Erling Haaland will no longer play for Borussia Dortmund beyond summer 2022, and he might sign for Real Madrid in that summer. So that is the aspect we have to keep all those Madridistas. That's it. I mean, Anthony Martial is of course a very good player. It is a player who makes about 15 million euros a year, and of course he should lower a little bit the salary to sign for Borussia Dortmund, but he's not being as important as he was supposed to be in Manchester United, and that's why he is linked to Borussia Dortmund and is still 25 years old. He's a super young guy. But I mean, other than that, the most important for us, it is to confirm that Borussia Dortmund and Erling Haaland will negotiate with Real Madrid the next year for selling the Norwegian player to Los Blancos. And that is, to me, that is pretty much everything. I mean, I don't need to analyze more in detail about Anthony Martial and how accurate is this signing for Borussia Dortmund, because to me, the most important is how important it's going to be to have Erling Haaland in Real Madrid. So according to this news, what I'm guessing is that Borussia Dortmund as well is assuming that there is nothing they can do about that. There's nothing they can do to retain Erling Haaland in Real Madrid, and it is pretty much very likely to happen to see Erling Haaland signing for Real Madrid this year. And that's why I wanted to share with you all this news, because this is of course by far the most important news of the day for Los Madridistas. So now let me know your comments in the section below, and of course subscribe to this channel, Real Madrid Hub.